All right, Raider Nation, welcome back to Truck Talk Tuesday. You are watching the Raider D podcast. I am your host, Mike Dean, aka the Raider D. And if you're brand new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you love daily Raiders updates, news, and rumors. Also, hit that like button and drop your comments down below. Let me know where you are watching from. I always love to check in with you guys and see where you guys are watching me from. Now, listen, today's video, we're going to be talking about something that is very important. So you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned for this entire video because we are going to be dropping some news that is critical, and that is about a star defensive tackle that we paid over $110 million to, and he ended up getting hurt in week 5 of last season, was out for the entire season after his injury, which was a freak injury. Yes, we are talking about Christian Wilkins, our star defensive tackle, but also we have some news on the fan favorite third and Renfro finally making it back into the NFL. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But before we get started today, obviously we got to pay some bills, and I got to let you guys know about my favorite place to get a ADU or a tiny home, and that is from a company called Box House. Now listen, Kevin over there is going to take real good care of you. You'll want to check them out because they have several different models to choose from. Their affordability is off the charts, and they can deliver pretty much anywhere in the United States. So thank you to Box House and my boy Kevin over there for being a big supporter of the Raider D podcast. Also, if you want to keep your data out there on the dark web, then do not, and I mean do not, click on the link down in the description.
Raider Nation, listen up. Bank of America and other major institutions have faced massive data breaches exposing sensitive information. That is why I have hooked up with the sponsor of today's video, Aura.com. Aura scans the dark web for your data, checks your devices for viruses, and offers tools like a VPN and call screening. Start with their 14-day free trial to get your report and see if your info is at risk. Click the link in the description or comments to sign up today.
I keep my family protected with Aura.com. You should too. Now let's talk about Christian Wilkins, because there is a very disturbing rumor that is going on about him right now, according to the injury that he suffered last year. And if you guys remember, we don't know exactly when he suffered the injury, but there was a play in week 5 where he had a big time play. I think it was a sack. And one of the other defensive linemen, I can't remember who it was, jumped on his back, put a lot of pressure on that foot, which I think was already injured. And this ended up in a Jones fracture. That's the technical term to it. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. But that's what he ended up with. It's a very serious fracture in his foot. And being a defensive tackle over 300 pounds, you got to be able to have good feet. And so he had to go and have surgery. He was done for the season. With that being said, now rumors have been put out there in the webosphere by Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda, saying that Christian Wilkins' injury is worse than we thought and worse than what the Raiders are letting on to. In fact, that it is so bad that he may need some follow-up surgeries and could potentially miss a significant portion, if not the entire 2025 NFL season. Now, this rumor caught absolute fire out there on the Twitter sphere, out there on YouTube, Instagram. Everybody was talking about what Tony had put out there. Now, he didn't mention any sources as to where he got this information from, but it spread like wildfire. And to put gasoline on the fire, the Raiders go and draft Tank Hemingway and J.J. Pegues as defensive tackles to an already stacked defensive tackle roster that the Raiders currently have. Now listen, in the NFL, a typical team will only carry 5 defensive tackles on their 53-man roster throughout the season. We currently have 8. That means 3 guys are most likely going to get cut off of this team, or will be on injured reserve. And so the fact that the Raiders went and drafted 2 defensive linemen or defensive tackles, that just added more fuel to the fire of Christian Wilkins' foot injury. And is it truly healed? Well, let's address that with what Vincent Bosignor said from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. He is very close to the situation. He's there at every single press conference. He lives locally there in Las Vegas, and he would know. And according to him, the team and Christian Wilkins' camp His injury is fine. It is healed exactly as they wanted it to. And in fact, Christian Wilkins has been in the majority of all the voluntary training that is going on in the facility right now. We have video of Christian Wilkins in the weight room doing squats, doing bench presses, shoulder presses, everything. What we haven't seen yet is him out there on the field doing any type of lateral movements or quick burst, twitch moves, anything like that. We don't have any video evidence that would suggest that his foot is 100%, because if it was, you would see more footage of him being put out there by the Las Vegas Raiders that his foot is good by showing him doing a bunch of speed drills, moves, etc. So that's the last part of the puzzle that we're waiting on to see if Christian Wilkins is in fact truly 100% healed. However, the fact that the Raiders went and drafted these two guys does spell that they are basically hedging their bets, right? Until he gets out there in week 1 and actually proves that that foot is 100% ready to go and he is back to form, being an absolute train wrecker in against offensive lines and opponents. They have to have a backup plan, and I think that that's just smart. That's why the Raiders went and drafted Tank and JJ, just as a backup plan. We don't know if either one of these guys are actually going to make the 53-man roster. We don't know if they're going to even make the practice squad. But you got to hedge your bets in the NFL. I think that's what John Spytek did here. I do not think that this is a signal that Christian Wilkins' foot injury is worse than what we've been told. I think that it is exactly as we have been told, which he is making steady progress, and by week 1, he should be 100%, and we should be good to go. Now, in further news, we also know that Hunter Renfro, Renfro, one of our favorite all-time slot wide receivers that the Raider Nation just rallies behind. I don't think there's anybody that is in the Raider Nation that actually disliked Hunter Renfro at all. Everybody loves this kid. A lovable character, made some great plays for us, kind of fell off under McDaniels, and it just didn't work out towards the past couple of years with him with the Raiders. So he took a year off, didn't get signed to a team last year, and he did visit with the Las Vegas Raiders, and in fact, the head GM, John Spytek, even went as far as to say that, he is a good player. He's in a good place for his career to be resurged. And so, we would be remiss if we didn't think about it and take a look at him. And so they had him in for a visit, did a workout with him. They went ahead and passed on him for some younger guys in the draft that we drafted. And so he was kind of just lingering out there to see if he was going to get picked up by a team. And finally, a team picked him up. From his native Carolina, the Carolina Panthers have now signed Hunter Renfro. Carolina is in need of wide receivers, especially a guy who has been a former Pro Bowler, a guy who is very shifty, a guy who catches pretty much everything that comes at him. This is exactly what Carolina needed, especially for Bryce Young. You got to get this young kid some help. And so congratulations to Third and Renfro. Once a Raider, always a Raider. So all my Carolina Raiders fans out there, go to the practice of the Carolina Panthers. If you see our boy Third and Renfro, sport your Raiders gear and just let him know. Once a Raider, always a Raider. We love you, Third and Renfro. And if you love this video, or at least somewhat liked it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys, and I will see you in the next Raiders video.